5 and 29 feet in this league than Caitlin Clark. Back-to-back.
Caitlin Clark just reminded everyone she answers to nobody else. Caitlin Clark makes her own rules. The Indiana Fever star wasn't happy with the coach she was set to have at the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game, so she did something about it. While taking part in the captain's draft on Tuesday, where each player got to assemble their teams, Clark did something we haven't seen happen before. ESPN host Malika Andrews asked both Clark and Naphiesa Collier if there were any traits they wanted to hammer out. And Clark immediately spoke up. ESPN host Malika Andrews asked whether either captain wanted to suggest a trade for either starters or reserves, before Clark interjected. Speaking on ESPN, the Fever star said, "To be completely honest, I love my team. I don't have any intention of trading any of them. I don't know if this is in the rules, and I don't really care, but we've already discussed that we're going to trade coaches. I don't know if this is in the rules, and I don't really care, but we've already discussed that we're going to trade coaches," Clark said. "Is going to take. Sandy Brondello, let's get it. Sorry, ESPN, if it's not in the rules, but we just made it a Rulumba All-Star decision by Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark isn't a shock to anyone. Only Caitlin Clark could pull something off like this, but why might she have wanted to do this?"
How much of that, because I want to get to a couple of other things before I have to let you go. How much of that was Cheryl Reeve, who was acerbic all last season about Caitlin Clark? How much of that was her, and how much of that
just happens? Right now, Clark, 23, is trying to find her footing amid the Indiana Fever's slow start to the 2025 season. She missed part of the season with a quad injury and went 3 of 20 during the Fever's 89-81 loss to the Las Vegas Aces on June 22. It's the Fever's second consecutive loss, putting them in the middle of the WNBA with a very mid-6-7 record. Considering that the WNBA team's season is only 44 games long, it's safe to say that the last thing Clark is worried about is a head coach in a completely different conference beefing with a journalist over something that happened last.
And if she were paying attention, one of the things that I have done for years is held the league accountable for their missteps, mishaps, their lack of representation of all teams. And so that particular situation had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. It had everything to do with a WNBA social media post that promoted one preseason game and not all preseason games. And so I simply said that, and by the way, the Minnesota Lynx are playing the Chicago Sky, which, also had some...
Reeve also reportedly complained about all of the attention Clark was getting during her rookie year. Add all of that together, plus the fact that Reeves is the head coach of Collier's Minnesota Lynx, and this move made perfect sense for everyone. Now both captains get the coach they'd prefer to have, and Collier approved the trade, noting, "I love Cheryl, she's my coach here. That's just going to be worse for Team Clark, because now we've got more chemistry on our side." Collier also said that it was a bad move for Clark. Brennan called Reeves' actions stunningly bad behavior, referencing a May 3, 2024 tweet in which Reeve appeared to echo a fan's frustration that WNBA coverage focused too heavily on Clark. How is okay with the Olympic and Paralympic Committee and USA Basketball that its coach is actively tweeting and going on social media about someone who is in the selection pool? I mean, that alone should have been immediately nipped in the bud, never was, by the leadership of those organizations, Brennan said to Gold on his show, prompting Reeve to fire back. The online back and forth between Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve and USA Today reporter Christine Brennan continues to intensify, centered around Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark and what many are calling her snub from the 2024 Paris Olympics roster. Reeve, the head coach for Team USA, came under scrutiny from Brennan, author of the upcoming book on her game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, during a June 16 appearance on The Adam Gold Show. Reeve also reportedly complained about all of the attention Clark was getting during her rookie year. Add all of that together, plus the fact that Reeves is the head coach of Collier's Minnesota Lynx, and this move made perfect sense for everyone. Now both captains get the coach they'd prefer to have, and Collier approved the trade, noting, "I love Cheryl, she's my coach here. That's just going to be worse for Team Clark, because now we've got more chemistry on our side." Collier also said that it was a bad move for Clark. "I guess we'll see if it was a good or bad move from Clark come All-Star Game night." Brennan called Reeves' actions stunningly bad behavior, referencing a May 3, 2024 tweet in which Reeve appeared to echo a fan's frustration that WNBA coverage focused too heavily on
was USA Basketball.
think it was both. I mean, officially, Cheryl Reeve was not on the selection committee, but she's the coach of the team, right? So we weren't born yesterday, you and I. Also, just stunningly bad behavior by Cheryl Reeve, tweeting at and about Caitlin Clark, kind of blaming her for not having her games on, Minnesota Lynx on TV, but only, Caitlin games on TV. That's the gist of it. Again, I have all this